Hello to everyone. This is İsmail Haznedar. Greetings from Istanbul, from Turkey. Today we are here together for a GAIN Global webinar session. I have a very special, great leader, a special guest, Roland KWEMAIN from Cameroon. Roland, welcome to our webinar session.
Hello, Ismail. Thanks for inviting me. And I want to congratulate you for the amazing job you have been doing. So I look forward to spending 1 hour with the community to talk about how to become an impactful leader.
I'm also really thankful because this is really great opportunity to talk about leadership from a true, inspiring, impactful leader. You are inspiration for me as well through my leadership journey in Junior Chamber International. Pardon me. So today we will have an hour to talk about how to become an impactful leader. And during this session, let me brief to the participants. We will cover the following areas. We will discover the potential. We will learn when, how, and where to make an impact. We will discover how to overcome life's chains. Also take ownership of 10 practical tips for impactful leadership. Before we start, I will share a short technical information. You will have chance to address your questions to Roland KWEMAIN. Please put your questions to chat room or to Q&A part. Then during the flow or at the end, we will have chance to have 1 or 2 questions to be addressed by our speaker. So Roland KWEMAIN is a leadership coach and trainer. Let me make a brief introduction. The leader who trains the future leaders, truly. 2010 JCI President, Junior Chamber International President, a man of great value and passionate for Africa, born in 1971 in Cameroon, holds a master's degree in international management, and also has a diploma on corporate social responsibility and sustainable development from the World Bank Institute. He is the chairman of Go Ahead Africa Ltd, a training and coaching organization and corporation. He facilitates coaching topics on various TV series, had a very tremendous traveling journey and experience in more than 90 countries. He speaks very well French and English, and lives in Boé, Cameroon with his wife and 3 children. Roland, thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me, as mentioned, to have you today for our session. In our webinars, mainly we go through the topics that we share with our participants. It's truly important to hear and to have your experience and then move forward in details according to expectations. So I would like to start mainly about your general feeling about nowadays. It's not a normal period, let's say so. Every city, every country, every continent is facing the same challenge differently, most probably, but we have a common way of facing the same cycle. How is the situation in Cameroon, and how you feel, what's your observation about the current situation?
Thank you so much again, Ismail. I want really to appreciate this opportunity given to me to exchange
I think we have a challenge with connection now, or let me see. So I will re-invite Roland once more.
Of the population
yes.
at home. People are also dying. The figures are not the same figures like in the Western world, but so far we have lost, I think, like 62 people. We have more than 2,000 cases that have been diagnosed. So yeah, it is hitting our economy, the mental, and people are so afraid because whether I like it or not, it's a death disease. So that's what is going on. But at the level of my company, we had to reinvent ourselves, and we are going, as I was telling you yesterday during our conversation, we are launching our e-learning platform in June, and we have been reinventing, going digital, and trying to instead reinvent. The word is reinventing. We have been reinventing our business.
It's truly a period that, as you mentioned, we are rebuilding, reshaping.
Yeah.
Also, we are gaining new skills, but sure, the impact is very relevant with today as well. Nothing changed most probably on that perspective.
I totally agree with you that at this crucial time, leadership is key. It's very key. In my conversation so far for the past many months with organizations and with individuals, I tell them this is the time we should refocus on the values, the vision, and the mission of our various organizations. You know, before the crisis, we were all in the comfort zone. We were doing what we like to do. We were doing well, all of us. But with the crisis, we need to refocus. But the second advice I give to organizational leaders and corporate leaders is that it is important at this moment of time to step up and not to resign, not to shy, not to run away. You need to address it with a lot of determination and courage. And last but not the least, it is important now to put forward participative and collective leadership. I mean, the participative approach will help us to bring together all the stakeholders, to ask them what are their fears, what are their worries, how are they seeing the future of our businesses, of our organization. And I'm sure with that participative approach, we are going to come strong with some innovative ideas that will push forward the business. So far, that's what we have been doing. And I think that is the way forward is more now on participative and collective intelligence.
Meanwhile, I'll try also to share the screen for presentation. If possible, during our session, maybe we will have a double screen. I will manage that one. But my question at this point will be about the impactful leaders. How you define the leader, the impactful leader? What is the difference?
Thank you. You know, you and me, we have been very fortunate to be part of a great organization that help young people to develop 4 skills: leadership, entrepreneurship skills, social responsibility, and fellowship. In JCI, we strongly believe that if young people have these 4 skills, they are going to be true change agents. In 2010, and you know very well, I was JCI President, and my working team was the Impact of One. And traveling around the world, I came at the end of my presidency with this concept of impactful leader. Who is an impactful leader? And that's the question you're asking. And what is the difference? For me, it's anyone who inspires, who motivates, who influences, but most important, who is at the service of others. So impactful leadership has nothing to do with title and position. You and me were world president of this organization, but this title do not make us impactful leaders. Impactful leadership is about inspiration, it's about motivation, it's about influence, but most importantly, it's about being at the service of others. So impactful leadership is about servanthood leadership. That's how I would define impactful leadership, Ismail.
I'm thankful. During your visits, you have traveled to different countries, different cities.
Yes.
What were the inspiring stories that you saw during that journey? So
I think
during that journey.
The first lesson or inspiration were the membership, the members, the ordinary members, the level of commitment of young people, you know, the level of passion, and also that dedication to make sure that they create projects in their communities is quite amazing. I will not also, I will mention here the 3 main stakeholders of modern society that I met. government leaders, quite inspired. I still remember my visit in Turkey, the government officials, in the corporate world, at that time, the world president of the World Business Organization was from Turkey, and I still remember the audience, you and me receiving us. So the corporate leaders, meeting them to see what they were doing to create values, to create wealth, and also
yeah, now I have the presentation also on the screen.
Yeah.
So if you wish also, I may focus on the presentation as well and help you with the flow of the presentation.
Okay. In the next slide is the symbol of one. If you go to the next slide, people keep asking me, what is the impact of one all about? We have here the goals of our session, helping you to discover the vision, the potential, helping you to know where and how can you create an impact. But most importantly, as we said, the next slide was to give you the explanation, the concept of one. In the next slide, one is an amazing figure. Okay, this is the picture of the book because I came out with a book, The Impact of One, and let them feel free to go. Yeah. When we talk about one is the origin of everything. One, when we say you are number one, it refers to leadership, it refers to authority. But one also is the expression of unity. When we say one, it's about oneness. And last but not the least, in terms of chemistry and physics, hydrogen is the most spread element of the universe. And we all know that the element of water is also uniqueness. So I try to explain and represent one. But the next slide is also to tell us about the impact. This is a word that you are going to hear a lot. In 2010, we heard about it and even beyond. What is impact all about? In the first impression, when we talk about impact, it's about a shock, it's about a collision, it's about accident. So impact in the first impression is negative. But the impact that we are talking about is positive. It's about influencing. It's about having a positive effect. It's about legacy. So that is the impact I'm talking. And the impact of one is the ability, which is the next slide, is the ability of each and every one of us to create a positive change. And I put the picture of Dalai Lama because it's one of the leaders I met in 2010. It's a spiritual leader that I respect and admire. So the impact of one is the capacity that each and every one of us will have to create positive change. That is the explanation of the concept impact of one. And now if we go to the next slide, I already explained. So I already said, you asked, that was your first question, Ismail, when we started, who is an impact leader? So I would like us to move to the next slide because I already explained. In this next slide, the next one, is why should we create an impact? And that's the question that we can ask ourselves. Active citizens do not ask themselves, why should they create an impact? We should create an impact for simple reason. Because to answer, we need there are 4 questions that I would like us to reflect. The first question is, what is the last thing you will not want to lose? You can lose everything except that thing. What is it? The second question is, what is our most life outstanding experience so far? The third question is, we all have a spiritual life, but if God asks us to give him one reason why he should admit us in paradise, what will be that reason? And last, how do we want to be remembered? So these are the 4 questions that you should ask yourself. And the true answers to this question will define if you are an impactful leader or not. So next slide, where should we create an impact? Next, I have in my book, The Impact of One, I've developed what I've called the 5 barometers of success. Most of the time, young people or people come to you and ask, Mr. President, what does it take to be successful? I will not answer. I will tell them, what is success all about? What you define as success might be different. Now, the simple answer is being successful is achieving our goal, our life goals. Now, these are 5 barometers. The first barometer is the career. The choice of our career. On May 1st, I gave a message to the world. We must love what we are doing. If we are not, at least, if we are not doing what we love, we must love what we are doing. So the choice of our career is quite impactful. The second is the family. When I visited you in 2010, I can't forget the nice story about the girls. And all JCI leaders will tell you about their family. The children keep saying we travel a lot. Our daddy travel, our mommy travel. So the family is a strong source of inspiration. Where if we don't inspire and have impact in the family, we are not a leader. The third are friends. Who are your friends? We shouldn't forget. Our friends will help us to accomplish our goals. Our friends are part of our support system. So we should be very careful when we are choosing our friends. The fourth is the community. We must have impact in the community. There is no leadership without impact, and the impact is within the community, what we call the individual social responsibility. And last but not least, the spirituality. You know, human beings are not just material or wealth being. We are also spiritual beings. So those are the 5 barometers that will help us to measure our success. Now, one of the reasons or 2 reasons why we are not going to accomplish our goals, fear and ignorance. We are so afraid because we don't believe in our potentiality. We don't believe in our strength. And last is ignorance. We need leaders and learners. If you don't develop new skills, it is bad. So we need to upgrade our software, human software, skill software. Every day we need to reinvent ourselves. Now, how should we create this impact? In the next slide, I presented Mother Teresa, an amazing lady. Now, you have 2 ways of creating impact. Some by using people, you know, by profiting. But true active citizens, leaders, is by rendering service. For me, I will advise the second approach, by rendering service to others. That's how we create impact. Now, in the next slide, I came to a conclusion that is quite simple, but quite amazing. In the next slide, you will see that no amount of money, achievement, or popularity can be compared to what you feel when you positively impact someone's life. This is known in JCI local, national, and even international. By changing the life of one individual, you have created something. Now, these are the 5 golden rules of an impactful leader. Number 1, rule number 1, you must place human being at the center of your action. What I've called the 3H. You are there to serve humanity. You must be honest, and last, you must be humble. The next rule number 2. You must have a personalized and singular approach for each member. Now, if in your group you are 20 members, each member is unique. That's why our DNA is not the same. Even the twins are not, they might be physically identical, but the attitude and the behavior is different. So you must have a personalized approach towards the members of your team. Rule number 3, you must empower your team. And that's why we are having this type of session. Leaders build leaders, they don't build followers. And in JCI, I like it. They say you have succeeded in your mandate when the person, your successors are making. So you must empower your team. Rule number 4. Number 4, ethics and transparency. I'm so happy because we should not be just popular and famous, but we must be women and men of values. What do we stand for? What are our values and principles? Should we succeed at all costs, or there is a price that you are not ready to compromise? Values And rule number 5 is about celebrating. You know, JCI, and that's why I love JCI. After hard days of work in conferences, we always have evening where we celebrate our culture, we celebrate our successes, we have award ceremony. We should learn to celebrate, recognize excellence, even small. So those are the 5 rules that will help us to be successful leaders in terms of team spirit. Now, these are the 5 Ds, and I've developed it in the book, Impact of One. The first D is the desire. When there is the will, there is the way. The second D is the decision to implement our desire. Impactful leaders are action-oriented. The third D is discipline. Despite the confinement, the lockdown, despite the fact that the world is going through a lot of challenges, we must be focused. We must keep the professionalism. We must keep the same level of rigor in what we are doing. So discipline is key. The 4th D is dedication. We must be passionate about what we are doing. Impactful leaders are passionate about something. And last is determination. No matter what, never give up. So I want to conclude with the 10 P's of impactful leaders. All is in P. The first P is purpose. It is important as leaders that we must have a vision. Everything starts with a purpose. What gives meaning and purpose to your life? Number 2 is passion. You must be passionate about something. You must be passionate about something. Number 3 is about planning. You know, our webinar was planned. Life is about planning. If you fail to plan, it means you have planned to fail. Number 4 is about persuasion, about communication, about sales. Leaders, impactful leaders are salespersons and negotiators. So it is so important. We also have another P that is I really is also about like punctuality, about progress. And this P is something, we have in the 6P, production. Impactful leader transform, they create values. We also have about punctuality, because time is money. You know, time is a value that we can't touch, but it's an amazing. Those who know how to use their time are going to create values. We need to be prayerful. Spirituality. We can see the world today. We can see United States, Europe down. So we need to have time to reflect and connect to our Creator. It's also about peace. The world is going through a lot of trauma. We need internal peace. There's no way we can smile if at the level of our interiority we are not happy. So internal peace. And last P is about perspective. No matter the crisis that we are facing, I was telling Ismail yesterday, we must invest. We must be in terms of strategy. We must put everything in perspective about the future. And the future, we are going to create the future. Impactful leaders are those that create the future. So those are the few slides I prepared for the participant, and I'm ready now to entertain questions.
I'm really thankful for the preparation that you have. It's a time for questions. I'll be great if our friends and participants may share their questions for Roland KWEMAIN. Let me start with a question that I have from Sebastian. Meanwhile, we had a poll about from where the participants are participating and joining today to this session. We have 50% from Europe, 21% from Africa, Middle East, 21% from Asia Pacific, and 7% from America. I'm really grateful to see this variety, have friends from different parts of the world. Thankful for joining us today. So Sebastian's question says, first of all, thanks to you for your talk in Châteauroux earlier this year in front of the French local presidents. His question is, how do you motivate people to lead and impactful action rather than just joining this action?
Okay, I think one of the skills that today we need, especially when we're in a non-for-profit industry like JCI, IAE, it is important that you yourself as a leader, you are quite motivated. Don't ask people to do what you cannot do. And I always say you need to lead by example. But there are also some practical things you have to do. You need to ask the members. I said it. You need to ask them what are their expectations towards the organization. What are their expectations towards the leadership that you are? What do they think could be their contribution in making sure that we achieve our action plan of the year? And last but not the least, you should be very, very kind and very close to the members. Humility is a key. I saw it as JCI President. I never took myself as a world president. I mean, Ismail, you know, I visited Turkey. You were 2010 JCI Turkey President, and outstanding President. I was so proud of you. And the 3 days I spent in Turkey, I had fun. I was close to the members. I learned from the members, but I also made sure that in my speech, I tried to tell them that we needed them. We needed their support. So these are some tips that if we are not boss, if the members have the impression that you don't need them and that you can do without them, they will not care. So I think, and that's where I said, it's not how outstanding, how competent you are, but how caring you are, how kind you are. It's not living from the head, but it's living from the heart. So again, we must make a mix between the rational and the emotional. The good mix is going to help you to engage the members to be more committed.
I'll be glad to hear a little bit about the impact of one motto that you had. It was a very strong message. And what is the impact of one?
Okay, thank you so much, President Ismail. You know, the impact, I was elected on the campaign, Let's Be the Change. But 2 weeks after with my team, we saw that Let's Be the Change of a famous Gandhi was very philosophical. But JCI members, they need concrete. You know, young people want concrete things. So after 2 weeks, when I was going to the headquarters for the handover, I changed the team. So now I decided that the working team will be the impact of one. Why the impact of one? Don't forget, in 2009, when I'm elected, we are going through a lot of financial crisis, USA and part of the world. So, and this financial crisis led to economic crisis. We have lost our sponsors and all the rest. So the first decision we had to take was to reduce the budget of the board of directors by starting with the president. But the second one was now to change the speech. I mean, where we're going to bring the members in terms of their social responsibility, what we have called the individual social responsibility, where we will more invite them to take ownership, because JCI is a membership-based organization. Individual members are very essential in helping us achieving our goal. So the impact of one is the capacity that each and every one of the members worldwide has to be part of the change that we want to see. So it is a team that brings at the center the word responsibility, the responsibility, the duty that each and every one has to create positive change. You don't need to be world president, to be EVP, national president, local president. These are titles and these are functions. But the member, because the world president belongs to a chapter, to a local organization. So it was a message of responsibility. 10 years after, I think the message is still relevant.
Thank you for addressing that question. Joel from Nigeria has a question and asks, please explain more on participating and collective intelligence meeting.
Okay, thank you so much. This concept is a concept that we are using a lot with our clients, all the clients we are training here in Africa. So it's just to say, before organizations were a lot of pyramids, where you had the chief executive officer, the board of directors, you have the management committee, the directors. So the impression was that the instruction was top down. Now we have to change, because organizations are more and more democracy than dictatorship. It is in the corporate world, in the civil society, very advanced, because civil society, by definition, are more participative because it's volunteerism. But at the level of the government and the corporate world, they are still very hard. It's, the president, the minister give instruction, you don't argue. And this approach have already shown some shortcoming. Why? Because the profile of young people of the 2000s are completely different from the 90s. Young people today, their profile, they want freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom of movement, they want to travel. They can't keep a job for 5 years. My father worked one job all his life, one job. I speaking to you, I've already done 3. And even 3, my children, I'm not sure they will do even 5 or 6. So we need to adapt to the profile and the mindset of this generation. And that is my message to the corporate leaders, that you need to have a participative approach, which is one, a lot of brainstorming sessions. Always ask the members of your team, what are their expectations? Do not guess. Don't just think, oh, I'm the boss, they need this, you need that. No. And JCI have what we call the active citizenship framework, started in 2010. Amazing. Where you ask, which is the marketing approach. You ask your market, you listen to your market. What are the needs of your market? Now you can approach it in your organization. What are the needs of your members? What are their expectations? But most importantly, how do they see the organization? Then you listen to them. When you take all these elements, they have participated. Then from there, the vision stop being your vision, it becomes a share and common vision. And if it is a share and common vision, my dear friend, you can go and rest, you can die, and the legacy will continue even when you are not there. So that is what we call participative approach now. Collective intelligence is the leader, making sure that you identify the competencies in your team and you make use of them. But weak leaders in organization, you will see that if they see a young person, they see Ismail is very competent, I try to kill him. We have it in organizations where they promote incompetent people. It is called, I think, kleptocracy. It's a whole way of thinking. You have organizations where they promote incompetent people because the leader does not want to be challenged. But we shouldn't do that. So I'm encouraging participative approach and collective intelligence. That's a concept that we have been developing with our clients, and so far we are quite successful. It is not easy because people are still used on power. They don't want to share. They think that if they share their power, they will lose their authority. But it's because their leadership is essentially based on the title. If your leadership is defined by the title, you are a weak leader. But if your leadership is defined by your competency, by your kindness, by your motivation and inspiration, then you're a leader. Even if you are not the world president, you are not more world president. I've been invited in France 10 years after my presidency. I'm not more president. So it has nothing to do with titles. It's about inspiration, motivation, influence, and service.
I'm thankful for having a chance to hear the concept. It's really valuable. My question will be, you are a leader, but sure, now you are an entrepreneur as well. So you are leading a company, you are leading a team there. So would like to talk a little bit about that side. So go ahead, Africa. How you decided to initiate your company as well as an entrepreneur, and how you see the relevance of entrepreneurship and leadership there.
Thank you so much, Ismail. They hardly asked me a question on Go Ahead, so thank you. So Go Ahead is a result of the 2010 presidency, I have to be honest. You were JCI President. So before my presidency, I was running an IT social entrepreneurship organization, ADCOM. We were installing computer labs in Cameroon. We installed so far 80 centers, training 300,000 students and more than 3,000 teachers. So that's a huge impact as a social entrepreneur. But at the end of my mandate as JCI President, in my meeting with the Dalai Lama in Osaka, in Japan, I think I had that conviction that when I come back home in Africa, I will start a company that will help to promote leadership, because Africa is the richest continent in terms of natural resources, but unfortunately it's the poorest continent in terms of development. So I came to the conclusion that the biggest challenge of Africa and partly the world is leadership. Poor leadership. Leadership is key. And we said we'll start a company. We will focus essentially on the corporate leaders, because Africa needs entrepreneurs, because we need to transform all this wealth, all these resources. We need to transform them, because if you look at our commercial balance, we import a lot. We export raw material, we don't transform, which is not good for the continent. So we started Go Ahead Africa, which is a leadership and management firm that trains managers, corporate managers, sometimes few government leaders, but most importantly with a foundation, what we have called the Pan-African Leadership Entrepreneurship Foundation. Every year we train, we have now like 4 academies, one in Cameroon, the Cameroon Leadership Academy for the past 8 years. We have also an academy in Mali, Mali Leadership Academy. We have an academy in Madagascar. We have been helping JCI Madagascar every year. We have an academy in Côte d'Ivoire. We have also have an academy in Benin. And so Nigeria, we have done also the Leadership Academy there. So we have some Leadership Academy worldwide, some with JCI, some with us. Why? Because we strongly believe that better leaders will create better organization. And you are asking me the importance of leadership in the business. Yes. First, we are a training firm, so you cannot give what you don't have. So all what we have been giving to our client is what we are applying. Our team is 12. We have 12 staff with six consultants.
It's based in Cameroon, you said, correct?
Yes, in Cameroon.
And active in all around Africa. Also.
Africa, yeah. We have clients in Nigeria. I have done some training with President Pascal, with Total. Total Nigeria, where the person training them. We have Côte d'Ivoire, a lot of training in Côte d'Ivoire, which is my big country. I think you visited Côte d'Ivoire. We have Mali. So we have a couple of countries where Congo, we have been doing trainings. But with this crisis, I know you didn't ask the question, but it might come. We are going the e-learning. So by launching our e-learning platform, now we spread all over Africa and beyond Africa.
So there will not be a border for that. Yeah.
Yeah, there will not be a border, because I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot about Africa, because I come from Africa, and Africa needs more leaders than the other part of the world, so that it is balanced. But again, I'm very happy to I was in Iceland, I was in France, I was in Belgium. So I keep traveling when I'm invited. I was in India to give training. So yes, I'm a global trainer with a heart for Africa.
It's really hard to initiate a new enterprise. And yes, usually the leadership skill to take action is critical there. What you would recommend, especially for new starters in that perspective, to encourage them, because it's important, as you mentioned, to raise new entrepreneurs, how we can motivate them?
Now, what I try to tell them is that they must follow what I've called in my book, the 5 Ds. There must be a desire to fulfill that dream. everything starts with the willpower. Because when there's the will, there is the way. They must have that hunger, that envy to do something. Not for themselves. It's not about you. It's not about Ismail. It's not about Roland. It's about the vision that is behind. The vision should be relevant and should be beyond an individual. So the first one is the desire to implement your dream. The second D, I'm coming back, you must be action-oriented. Entrepreneurs are hard workers. They work so hard. They get up early and they go to bed so late. They have to pay a price, which is now the D of discipline. They should not just say, oh, Roland is traveling around the world, oh, he's doing well in business. There is a price to pay for that. There must be a way of doing things. The first 2-3 years are not easy. You must be your accountant, your HR. You have to develop all these skills. You need to have multi-skills in order to build the business. It's not just on paper. Sometimes you'll be frustrated. And that's when dedication. If you're not passionate about what you are doing, you will get discouraged because it's not overnight that you become successful. It's not overnight. So you must be passionate. If you're not passionate, at the first frustration, you will let go. And if you let go, I will say goodbye because that was not your vision. The last D is determination. You know, for entrepreneurs, giving up is not even an option. So those are the small tips that I can share with young persons that want to become entrepreneurs. But also I tell them about entrepreneurship is so simple. It's very practical. If you have seen the 10 P's that I share with the viewers. Look, we must be practical. What I'm trying to say is that you identify a challenge in the community, in your city. That challenge, if you transform it in terms of solution, becomes a business, an income generating activity. So entrepreneurs are very practical. They observe, they are curious, they look, they listen. Like the current crisis is an opportunity. But some, if they don't have entrepreneurial mindset, they will keep complaining, blaming, accusing, what I've called the ABC syndrome. They will accuse the government, they will accuse the elders, they will accuse others why they are not implementing or realizing their dream. They will keep blaming others why they are failing, and they will keep complaining about everything. If you want to become a successful entrepreneur and a leader, you should kill the ABC syndrome. Stop accusing, stop blaming, and stop complaining. Be solution providers. Solution providers, that's the name I give to entrepreneurs.
I like the ABC syndrome. Very, very good. Everything starts from taking action. And you are right. If we take the ownership of the challenge, it's the starting point for entrepreneurs. Usually we say, what is the need in the market, or what is the challenge in the market that you create an innovative way to overcome or fulfill that need. Then it's the place where it starts. We need more that one. I see that I am following the same pace after my presidential year. For me also, the gap that I was seeing was to match starters with investors, mentors globally. Really great ideas in different countries and great mentors in different places, but somehow they don't have or didn't have a chance to match with each other. This was the purpose of Gain Global, actually. So it's now after 3 years now moving forward to become a global platform, mainly with a purpose to bridge and bring together like-minded starters, mentors, entrepreneurs, and investors. This sharing that you had during this session was very, very valuable. They will have chance also to replay and review your video later on also. It's very important to learn from a leader. Everything starts with that leadership in startups, and hopefully in future they may inspire, like you inspired all the world. They may inspire their teams and also different players they have in their teams. I'm thankful very much. Maybe, Roland, I will be asking for your final remarks to our audience. What you would recommend, what are your final
One
remarks.
second.
Yes, please. Yeah. So I think we will receive the book, most probably, the Impact of One book, maybe we are waiting for that, or let's see, a surprise. Meanwhile, from the poll, I'm thankful. I see that we have a majority participants from Europe and Africa. I'm really thankful, and from Asia Pacific also, France. I said we will see a very special gift, a book. We have it.
And the story, you know, in this book, I thank you, Ismail. You were the first person to ask me in 2010, in March, when I visited Turkey. You told me, Mr. President, please write a book. You remember?
Yeah, yes, President.
and also President Pedro of Luxembourg.
Luxembourg, so, together.
In this book, I thank you. It's there. I wrote about Ismail and Pedro. These are the two guys that told me, and in Osaka, I remember you prepared a small video to announce.
To promote and announce, yes.
Promote. So I want to appreciate, and I want to say I really look forward to sending you a copy dedicated in the World Congress in Japan. We cross our finger that
we hope we can meet there. We can come together.
We can meet there. So you will have. And for those who are interested, it is in French and English on Amazon. So if they go to amazon.fr, they can order the copy of the Impact of One.
Impact of One, yeah.
Yes.
Also, I will share the link of the book ordering link in our discussion.
Then, as I said, very soon in June, we are going to launch our e-learning platform, where we have more than 40 leadership and management models, quite inspiring. So I will invite them to subscribe, to be part, and thanks for the opportunity. And let us not get discouraged. In the history of humanity, there have always been up and down. Let us look things at perspective. What is the future looking like? And the future is prepared now, because the confinement will start very soon. Europe have started, and those who during this period never work hard, never reinvented themselves, will be surprised in the next month that the world has changed, and nothing will be like before. It will be like September 11. You know, nothing will be like before. So please, the new world, let us ask ourselves, what are the skills that we need in order to be successful in the new world? So I wish each and every one of you all the best. Again, congratulations, Ismail, for the great job you are doing. And I look forward to visiting you. You know, the last time I stopped in Turkey was 2 years ago, but I couldn't go out because the stopover was less than 2 hours. So I look forward to visiting you in Turkey.
No problem. Before we close, we have really great friends in the session. Rania, thank you for joining. He passed best regards also. And Uli has a question. Maybe we may mention like a small answer. He says, what could you say about the cultural difference concerning the value, responsibility in comparison of different continents? Africa, Europe, America, and Asia. Maybe a small answer for that.
I totally agree that when we are global leaders traveling within all over the world, what is essential as a leader is to respect others, the culture. Don't judge others, and the level of tolerance. You know, we are very lucky to have the Japan Academy. When we go to Japan Academy, you know, more than 80 countries, nationalities, you need to tolerate. And global leaders and more leaders should learn how to tolerate. They need to look at diversity as a plus. Our differences is a plus. What divides us is so minor than what unites us. And Ismail, you and me, we did the world. When you go to Japan, okay, you will follow their culture. You will say amazing. You go to Europe, you go to Africa, you go to Americas. What is essential as a leader is to, one, respect the culture of others, listen to them, but most importantly, look the difference as a diversity, as a richness. So we should focus on what unites us than what divides us. By the way, humanity is virtually the same worldwide. We want all to be successful. We want us to be happy. So the lesson I've learned in my travels is that all of us, we share our families, we share our friends, we want to have fun, we want to be successful. Those are some key elements that are universal values. So again, let us focus on what unites us than what divides us.
Thank you. Thank you for addressing the question fully. Also, I appreciate it. It was really lovely to have that chance to welcome you here in this session. It was great learning and impactful session. I appreciate very much your time. Also, I thank you once more please check the book Impact of One from Amazon. And also soon you will have chance to hear in digital site from Go Ahead Africa. You may follow the sessions of Roland KWEMAIN, impactful, inspiring leader. Thank you for accepting my invitation, and hope we can see soon also somewhere around the world. Let's close in JCI way.
Very soon.
Keep safe and take care. This was the Impact of One sign, correct?
Yeah, you smile.
Yes,
smile.
For me was the smile. Yeah. Keep smiling and keep impacting.
Thank you.
See you. Please take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good day to us. Thank you.